I'm Jayson Jorgensen. It is once again time for another season of Husker Chat with Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. Another season of Husker football is upon us. Sean, good to see you, and here we go for the Huskers.
Hey, let's do it, Jason. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be back.
Talk about this opener. This is a glorified home game for Nebraska against Cincinnati, and kind of a strange tale of how this game ended up in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's really a win, honestly, for everybody involved. Cincinnati already had 7 home games scheduled. This was an 8th home game, and so it was almost a bonus home game for them. And in this new rev share NIL era, you need to find as many ways possible to increase your revenue. So this game initially was going to be played at Lucas Oil Stadium, and I think the folks involved figured out real quickly it was going to be hard to sell out Lucas Oil for a game like this and really maximize the revenue. Then Arrowhead Stadium and the Kansas City people got involved, essentially doubled whatever they were going to make in Indianapolis with a chance to even earn more than that. So it was a no-brainer for them. But yeah, what you're going to see now is 90 to 95% of this crowd being Nebraska fans. I mean, you don't hear any traction at all from the Cincinnati side of things of folks that are going to be traveling down to Kansas City.
You've been through a lot of these preseasons and your days and years of covering Husker football. What's your take on what's transpired here over the last month in Lincoln?
Well, I think Matt Rule has buttoned up a lot of loose ends that kind of needed to be fixed in his first 2 years. He's got his special teams obviously ironed out with Mike Eckler. And you know, they got a new kicker, a new punter. Kyle Cunanan will kick. Archie Wilson will punt. They got a new long snapper. I mean, those are big things. But then on offense, I think Dana Holgorsen, just him now having this full off season with a returning high-level quarterback, Dylan Raiola. They've upgraded the receivers. It's a veteran offensive line. So there's a lot there with this offense to make it go. I think the questions are still about the defense and how they'll hold up with so many guys they lost a year ago, particularly on that defensive line.
Talk about some of the guys you're looking forward to trying to step in there and fill some big holes up front, because that certainly was the strength of the Black Shirts a year ago.
Yeah, I think Keona Davis is definitely a guy. I think that could be a star in this program long term. Jalen George, a newcomer they brought in. Elijah Judy, they're really counting on. Riley Van Poppel, Williams Winery. I mean, I think there's 5 or 6 on this D line that they're going to need to play big. I love the linebacker group. I think they've really upgraded across the board. The additions of Marquise Watson Trent and Dasan McCullough have been outstanding. And then it's a veteran secondary with Andrew Marshall, the lone new face in that starting group. So there's a lot of potential. I just think it starts up front and how that group will do this year.
Let's get back to the offense. Dylan Raiola was thrown into it. Everybody expected him to play a lot last year and start as a freshman. He did. He certainly had his moments. As you look at him and his game, where do you think maybe he takes some giant leaps forward this year?
I just think the direction with Holgorsen and the development he's going to get in this offense, they have better receivers than they had a year ago. It's a very good offensive line on paper. I mean, 7 of their top 8 linemen have been SEC, Big Ten, or Notre Dame starters. So that's a pretty good base to build upon. So I just think all of that as a sophomore, you make a natural jump anyway, but then you add what they've upgraded the roster with and what Dana Holgorsen brings as an elite offensive mind. I'm excited to see what this offense comes out of the gates with in Arrowhead Stadium, especially the first couple of possessions.
Is it safe to say, as from a talent standpoint, is this maybe the most talent Nebraska's had to work with in a while?
It's always hard to say, because I do think the 2019 Frost team had a lot of talent too, and they squandered it away. I mean, that was a team ranked to start the year, and they were picked to win the Big Ten West that season, and then they fell apart. So you have to be careful, because I do think there's actually been some fairly talented rosters that have just underachieved at Nebraska. And you hope that that's not the case with this group, that it's a roster with talent that's going to meet or exceed the expectation level. I think that's been the problem. There's been talented rosters that haven't even really met the expectation, but obviously have gone below that. And that's led to some very frustrating Husker chats with you and I over the last few years.
That is for sure. Cincinnati was 5-7 a year ago. What kind of a foe is Nebraska going to see on Thursday, you think?
Well, third-year head coach Scott Satterfield, just like Matt Rule, in his third year. He replaced Luke Fickell, who went to Wisconsin. Sorsby is their quarterback. He's a veteran. He can run. He's 235 pounds. They've got arguably the best defensive lineman in the Big 12, Dante Corleone, that could give you some problems on the interior. They brought in a receiver or two from the transfer portal. They've got an NFL level tight end. I think their offensive line is a mystery. So Nebraska's question, I think, is also a good matchup for them because Cincinnati has questions on the O-line. Nebraska has questions on the D-line. So who kind of comes out ahead will be one of the bigger matchups to see how that goes.
All right, Sean, as always, we appreciate the time. What a sight that will be at Arrowhead Stadium instead of Chiefs red, Husker red on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, almost 20 years, 06, the last time we were down in Kansas City. And I'm just looking forward to that trek down I-29 because it's going to be Husker fans everywhere.
All right, Sean, have a great trip. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks, Jayson.
That was Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us for Husker Chat. We'll be here throughout the season. Once again, it's brought to you by Acres Equipment. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jayson Jorgensen.